If I gave a fuck what y'all think I would be doing this? Welcome to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me, for us. Vulgar but true, real and never fake. I'm your host, Ayo Reese, and I've got a lot of shit on my mind today, so let's get into it. Happy Friday, people, and welcome to an all-new exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. My bad, wrong show. Welcome to an all-new exciting episode of the podcast that's from me and for us. I hope you all had a great week and haven't been too thrown off by us springing forward last weekend. I love it when it's time to spring forward because that means we're getting more daylight, which gives me my powers, and it means warm weather is on the horizon. I could have sworn some years ago that we didn't spring shit forward until April, but who knows? Things change so often and we only quote-unquote fall back for a mere 3 months. I feel like we should just spring forward and keep it that way. Word to Donald Dump. Let's really just think about it. With only that little bit of time, how much daylight are niggas really saving? Not too much. But besides springing forward this past Sunday, I had a pretty eventful weekend. I tried peach crown for the first time, and I must say that shit is like the nectar of the gods. I'm not a big peach flavored loving guy, but when it comes to peach alcohol, that shit talks to me all the time. I suggest everybody try that shit out, as soon as you can. Also, my company threw an employee appreciation event at Gillette Stadium for all the employees who had to work during contingency for 7 months. Most of the time when it comes to company weekend functions, I'm like, fuck that shit, especially if it's on the weekend. But then, I thought about it and I'm like, this shit might be kind of cool, so I'm going to go ahead and go. When they first announced this event, they initially told us, it was casual and laid back, but we couldn't wear jeans or sneakers. And apparently, I guess a bunch of people started bitching, so they ended up changing it so we could wear jeans. But then they still said that it was no sneakers. Now, as big as a weekend sneaker junkie I am, I'm like, bruh, how is it a casual, laid-back event, but you can't wear sneakers? Fuck am I supposed to wear? Stacey Adams with jeans? So being that it was supposed to be a quote-unquote casual event, I made sure I wore something not too laid-back, something that would look presentable, but would still be something I would wear on the weekends compared to what I would be wearing to work during the week. So Saturday comes, I pull up to the event, and I'm sitting in the car people watching because I didn't really want to be the first one in there and be exactly on time. And as I'm sitting in the car people watching, and if you follow my IG, you've heard part of this story. So people watching, and I think maybe about 50 to 100 people we watch walk in here. And out of those 50 to 100 people, I'll tell you, I think I saw maybe 3 to 5 black people in total. I wasn't surprised per se, but it always just makes me be like, damn, we're really the minority when it comes to these companies. And this is why at work, I relate more to my social media timeline than some of my coworkers. But besides being the minority, what makes things even crazier is that all of the people that were going into the event seem to all be dressed the exact fucking same. Mind you, they said the event is casual, but these motherfuckers were pulling up and walking in with button-ups, boot-cut jeans on with loafers and shit. Like, I don't care how old I get, I will never wear boot-cut jeans unless they're like throwaways to strictly work in my yard or something. Like, as an older person, you don't have to wear skinny jeans and be super tight. But them boot-cut jeans are just a big-ass, baggy no-no. But anyways, it was crazy because when I say everybody was dressed the same, like literally, no bullshit, everybody was dressed almost the exact same. So after watching this, I'm thinking as well, like, is this how white people dress on the weekends? Like, on the weekends when I run errands, whether I'm taking the kid to dance class or going to get a haircut or whatever the case, I try to be as comfortable as possible, but presentable all at the same time. Hoodies, joggers, sneakers, some shit like that. But it's just like, this button up with the beer belly is your weekend look? Nah. This just continues my always known confirmation that we set the trends because the way everybody was dressed up like robots in that joint was mind boggling. No type of flavor at all. But besides everybody looking the exact same, the event was pretty cool. The food was pretty good, which is always a coin flip because lots of non-black catered places don't use seasonings or they dry out the white meat chicken. Chicken be so dry like turkey and not even hot sauce can say that shit. But the food was good. We were able to take pictures with the Vince Lombardi trophy and 5 of the Patriots championship rings. And I'm going to say, yo, them Super Bowl rings are heavy as fuck. Like, I think if I took one and like threw it at somebody's head and hit them in the fucking temple, I could probably kill their ass. But overall, it was a good time. But it wasn't good enough to make me stay all the way to the end. So we ended up leaving a little early because we had booked tickets to go see Captain Marvel. Did you know that Captain Marvel is the highest grossing movie with a female lead ever? It's also the second biggest opening for a comic book movie right after Infinity War, which is mind-boggling because Captain Marvel has been getting lots of mixed reviews. And I will say, after watching the movie, I think the mixed reviews are warranted. This was a movie that personally I wasn't super hyped about going to see, but because I'm so vested into the MCU, of course I was going to check it out. But for me, I would say Captain Marvel was just okay. It's not a movie that you have to see to keep the MCU connectivity going, but it's a movie that bridges the gap between a couple things and gives a little insight on where she has been when everything has been going on the past 20 movies or so. If I had to give the movie a ranking compared to the others, I would say this is probably, I'm going to be real, it's probably my least favorite movie out of all 21 movies so far. But just because it's at the bottom, I'm not saying that it's horrible. It's not a bad movie, and it doesn't even have a bad plot. But there's something missing that I just can't quite put my finger on. Maybe it's this movie, sometimes movies can be like albums. You first listen to an album, it doesn't sound good the first go around, but after a while you realize that the album is a bop and it just crept up on you out of nowhere. So who knows? I also think after watching Infinity War last year, the bar has been set so high that even if I know I'm not comparing the movies, any other movie won't scratch that itch the same way. It's like if you're a single guy out here and you happen to smash Rihanna one time and then you go back to smashing these regular chicks. In your mind, you're not going to compare because the regular chicks ain't got nothing on her regardless. But in the back of your mind, you still won't be as satisfied. Yo, shout out to Aaron. Apparently, I'm catching fade on sight for all the Rihanna post a few weeks ago. Yo, 6'7" ass, tall ass nigga, too tall motherfucker. If we gonna box, I'm gonna need some stilts. But anyways, there's also 2 end credit scenes, so make sure you park your ass for that. I tell you though, it's crazy how Marvel has changed the game to make niggas stay for the credits because that's something that has never been done before, like ever. And the connectivity of the MCU has been something that has almost never been done before as well. And some movies taking place at certain times can make things hard to follow because they're supposed to be all quote unquote connected. So I got bored one day and I thought about how could I do this if I really wanted to. And I came up with a list. So here is my suggested watch order of every MCU movie so far. And this is based on timeline in the story, not release date. So my order is Captain America, the First Avenger, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Marvel's The Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor, The Dark World, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Captain America Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. There you have it, nigglets. You got 6 weeks to catch up if you haven't already, so get to watching. Although I'm not the biggest advocate of the NFL, the news I got on Tuesday got me super fucking hype. The New York Giants agreed to trade Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns for the 17th draft pick this year, a 3rd round pick, and Jabril Peppers. I will say that Odell Beckham Jr. getting traded to the Cleveland Browns is probably the biggest acquisition for Cleveland since Jim Brown back in the 50s. As much as Cleveland was known for basketball because of LeBron, if you really know anything about Northeast Ohio, then you know that Cleveland is way more of a football town than a basketball town. And it's always been that way, despite the Browns being irrelevant for so damn long. Win, lose, or draw, there are no fair weather fans in Cleveland, and everyone in that city is down for the dog pound. Period. Cleveland has coined the term, we'll get it next year. So I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to the Super Bowl or nothing crazy like that.
But the squad they got are looking pretty fucking good. And with a game-changing player like that on the field, other great assets, and a QB who was in the running for Rookie of the Year and has seemed to embrace the city, it looks like things are finally taking somewhat of a turn in the town known as the Mistake by the Lake. As always, salute to the land. I love it. While the future in the land is looking bright, things seem to be taking an opposite turn for their AFC North rivals that are about 2 hours east. Last weekend, the Pittsburgh Steelers dealt Antonio Brown to the Oakland Raiders for only a 3rd round and 5th round pick. AB is also getting a reworked deal that will make him the league's highest paid wide receiver by going from $0 guaranteed to a total guarantee of $30 million. This is huge for AB. The money, of course, is fantastic to go from 0 guaranteed to $30 million, but there's other messages behind what has happened with AB. I like the fact that with everything that happened, AB didn't listen to the outside distractions who were talking things like, oh, he needs to just fall in line with the Steelers. Oh, he is a distraction and this is how the Rooneys like things to be. Anything else you hear the media trying to push down our throats. But AB stood pat and took a chance by doing what he thought was best for himself. He didn't like his situation. He met with the owner to clear the air, and both even took a photo and tweeted it out to confirm that they all agreed it was best to move on. This is unprecedented in the NFL because players always fall in line with what these owners say or whatever pressure is put on them in this super conservative ass league. AB wasn't always concerned about the logo or the shield, as most people know the NFL as. Players know the NFL doesn't care about them, but only care about one thing: the image and the perception of the shield. But by doing what he felt was best for him and his family, he got in a good situation with a pretty good quarterback. Will eventually be playing in Las Vegas if he stays with them long term, which means warmer weather, and he'll probably have a lot more local endorsements, billboards, and all kinds of shit like that. I can only imagine how Las Vegas is going to be when the team finally goes there. It's crazy now, then you sprinkle on top drunken, gambling ass fans watching football. It's going to be madness. Kind of scary if you think about it. But this move by AB was definitely an NBA type power move, and me personally, I'm like that GameStop commercial slogan. Power to the players. The players are the ones with the talent and generating all the revenue for these leagues, so they should be able to exercise their rights, do what's best for them, and make shit happen. AB said himself that he's not going to just do what they want him to do, and he doesn't need football because he has $30 million in the bank. And he said this shit before the trade to the Raiders happened. With a mentality like that, you'll never be enslaved to the corporation and will be always confident to bet on yourself, and in some instances, you'll come up with a major win just like this. If we count Kaepernick and AB as 2 NFL players betting on themselves based on what they believe in, then the urban millennials are 2 for 2, at least when it comes to money. AB called out Roethlisberger and even said the GM's comments about 52 kids as another reason for wanting to be out. That comment by the GM did irk me a little bit. Like, how you a general manager of a professional football team with grown men who get paid, and you're going to sit here and say, oh, well, yeah, the Ben, I respect him as the leader, and he is in charge, and he's responsible for all 52 kids of the team. Like, I wouldn't want to be part of a team either when the man running the show thinks all the players are kids except the white QB who has been accused of rape twice. Crazy how shit happens. But salute to AB for sticking with what he wanted to do and getting rewarded from it. I don't think it's ironic that AB makes this shit happen a little over a week after he appears on the latest episode of HBO's The Shop, which is executively produced by the man who was the revolutionist of power to the players and knowing your worth, my man, LeBron James. So a few weeks ago, an episode of The Shop dropped on HBO. It was titled Season 2, Episode 1. And when I saw this, I'm thinking like, nigga, Season 2? There was only 3 episodes in Season 1. But even though it's only been a few episodes, The Shop continues to show why it is one of the most illest shows, because the discussions are always about content that we want to hear while involving people who are relevant in their craft now. We as a culture haven't had many shows that feature relevant artists, athletes, etc., talking strictly about issues that pertain to the urban millennial culture. It truly symbolizes how things go down when you're really in the barbershop. The show was golden. The latest episode featured, as stated earlier, Antonio Brown. It also featured Anthony Davis, Jamie Foxx, Gerard Carmichael, Meek Mill, and 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz' song Money in the Way is featured as the intro-outro track for Season 2, which is no surprise since his latest album, Rapper Go to the League, had dropped the same day. 2 2 Chainz's latest album, I will say, this shit is his best body of work out of his whole career. Like, and I've been fucking with 2 Chainz since in high school when he was still in DTP and known as Titty Boy. And a lot of people, like you said, didn't know they were the same person. That's why on his mixtape, True Religion, he had a skit saying, nigga, I'm Titty Boy. I'm the same guy. He like remade his whole image. And that's like something that's like never been done almost ever. But as far as the album go, it's his best one. The production is fire. And he's spitting real shit. And it has a lot of substance. But why should I be surprised? LeBron James A&R'd the album. And like I said, everything he touches is gold. Period. There's only one thing that he has touched that hasn't been golden yet, even if they do wear the colors in their uniform.
It's the FMFU podcast, bitch.
You know, after it was announced LeBron was signing with the Lakers last July, I was asked, who am I rooting for when it comes to basketball since LeBron's going to LA? Well, my response is this, and it's always been this. My team for basketball is the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I will always root for LeBron to be great because he's from Northeast Ohio. He does great things for the community, and I think he's the best basketball player of all time. In an alternate dimension where, let's say if the Cavs played a LeBron-led Lakers in the finals, I'm rooting for Cleveland, period. But with LeBron going to LA as something that was talked about more than a year in advance of the actual signing, the NBA has gained reputation of a drama league in the eyes of casual watchers because of the storylines off the court instead of what happens on the court. I think the reasoning for this is because the media plays a major part in presenting the storylines and creating their own narratives based on the design of programs that are presented on television. But with that being said, I think I'm at a point right now where I can't stomach to watch sports shows anymore. Normally at work, I'll watch some YouTube clips to keep up with the latest news, but that's about it because at this point, I can't stand it. There's a lot of them. There's too many of them. I think it's oversaturated. You got First Things First, Undisputed, First Take, PTI, Get Up, any other show you can think of. And it's not that I don't think the people on the show are bad at their job. I think they do a great job. The problem is that every show is the exact fucking same with the exact fucking content in the exact fucking order. The formula is the same every day. And for the most part, the very first topic at the beginning of every show is always about LeBron James. And not just that, okay, oh, he's so good and so great and he did a good job. The problem is there's always, you can tell there's agendas because you'll have one guy who's super for it, one guy who's like, nah, fuck it, he sucks. And then you'll have like a super negative extremist who just criticizes every fucking thing. Even to the point of how niggas are sitting on the bench. Oh, he was sitting on the bench biting his nails. He's about to leave the team. Like, what? Like, it's fucking astounding. So then you'll get comments like, you know, oh, he's not a team player and whatever the fuck else. But it's funny because every teammate he's played with, including one who requested a trade from Cleveland, Kyrie Irving, has said that he was the best teammate. Like, this nigga LeBron is the most scrutinized player in the history of American sports. For as great as dude is, you would think the topic would get old, right? But the media continues to have people on TV who make these crazy, mind-boggling takes / comments, and these comments influence people who are heavily active in the social media world. I saw a take the other day that said the Lakers need to look at trading LeBron. Nigga, what? Trade LeBron? Do you know how out of your mind you sound right now? Like, if he was playing trash or playing like a scrub, then okay. Every dog has their day. Father Time is undefeated, right? But even though it's not only about numbers, like this nigga is averaging 27, 8, and 8. Like these motherfucking fakers ain't making the playoffs. I mean, especially with these G Leaguers he is playing with. Like, who you think you're going to trade him for that is going to come in and change the chemistry of the current team they have on the Lakers? Why does the media catch amnesia so quickly? Because just months ago, before the LeBron injury, the Lakers were 4th in the West and were blowing out Golden State by 25 on Christmas. They haven't had a healthy team all year. And now 2 of their young guys are out for the season. So, I mean, what you expect? The nigga drugged decent players to the finals at the 4th seed in the East. It's hard to drag G League niggas to the playoffs when you already sitting at 9th when coming back from an injury. Fucking imbeciles. Like, I saw. So, yeah. So, to take it like, oh, LeBron he fucked up the team's chemistry. He fucked up the Lakers team chemistry. So let me ask you this. Which team chemistry we talking about, my nigga? The 35 win total of the 2017-2018 season team chemistry, or the missing of the playoffs for 5 years straight, including the 2015 and 2016 playoffs where Kobe wasn't retired yet chemistry? Which chemistry did he fuck up? Because I really want to know. And last but certainly not least, ESPN, I know you're probably not listening, but by the chance of God you are, give me a deal, but listen to my advice as well. You need to get Paul Pierce off of television now. This non-connecting goatee motherfucker gonna say, LeBron's stats are good, but we need to be talking about another James Harden. Like, fool. Harden is great, and he's doing his thing, and he has willed that team to, they'll probably end up fucking around getting a 2 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver slid a little bit, and they jumped them, and still Golden State would be number 1. But the motherfucker's balling. He's great. He's probably one of my, this was even before the MVPs. I always said I think James Harden probably my second favorite player to watch outside of anybody who was on the Cavs when the Cavs had a championship team, because I loved watching Kyrie too, but now he playing for them Leprechauns, so I don't really give a fuck about him. But Harden's great, and he's probably about to get his second MVP. But the comments like this, even if you didn't say it, it's like you're on a platform. Are you insinuating based on your comments that Harden is better? Like, not even better than LeBron, but you're saying he's better than KD, Kawhi, and even a Greek freak? Like, this nigga just needs to get off TV. This nigga even said he is a better wing shooter than Klay Thompson because we haven't seen Klay in those situations. Like, when it's me, it's money, but we don't know what Klay would do. Like, fool. Nigga, if it wasn't for Klay, Golden State would have been knocked out of Western Conference Finals in 2016 and 2018 because they was down 3-2 or whatever in both of those series. Fuck out of here. Fire him now. But anyways, I've discussed greatness fatigue before. So I understand, LeBron not winning MVPs and such because, he's been good for so long. And, when something's good for so long, you get bored of it. And like I said, greatness fatigue. But you would think this fatigue would set in with the people who cover sports and they would just move on to other topics because these takes on these media platforms are not even really creative. Like, my daughter can come up with better content than these motherfuckers. Like, instead of news and discussions, to me, a lot of times, it sounds more like high school gossip. And that's some shit I don't like. And before anyone says LeBron apologist, I won't say that the nigga hasn't done anything wrong. Nah, everybody has flaws. But most of the time, people who are online being quote-unquote apologists, they're giving their reasons because people don't stick with the facts. And it all starts with the media that puts these thoughts in these trolls' heads online. Like, this is similar to, I saw a headline earlier on ESPN.com. And the fucking headline is titled, Westbrook threatens courtside fan and fan's wife. I'm not going to say that that is false. However, the headline is misleading. If I see this headline and I don't decide to look what's inside, I'm going to think that Westbrook just went off on a fan and his wife for no reason. Like, and this is the point about perception on top of telling the truth. Yes, you might have told the truth, but you're only telling part of the story and you're creating a different perception than it actually happened. Like, let's be real. Westbrook was yelling back at a fan as a response to the fan because the fans yelled to him on the court to get on your knees like you used to. And then this same cracker motherfucker who ESPN interviewed and gave him fucking camera time, which I think that's dumb because then it's going to be other people trying to do it to get camera time. He going to sit there and say, oh, we were just joking and back and forth, which that's a white people cop out. They'll say nigger, 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 and then they want to cop out when they know that they fucked up when they got caught. But Twitter never fails because that same ass motherfucker had posted numerous tweets of racism and bigotry in the past around October of last year with tweets saying like Westbrook needs to go back where he came from, #MAGA and other shit. So let's keep the fucking headlines proper and keep the perception correct. Whether you're telling a story, whether you're putting a headline out, whether you're on the media, whether anything, make sure that it gets out correctly. Thankfully, though, with this situation with Westbrook, the Jazz did ban this fan from the arena and for many future games or events for his conduct towards a player. So, as always, salute to the NBA and their teams. Because the NFL wouldn't do no shit like this. They would just be like, man, whatever, he ain't say nothing. And they don't care because all they care about is the fucking shield. But at the end of the day, we're going to tell a story. Paint the whole fucking picture. Don't just paint a corner of that bitch and I'll be like, well, I take it as this. No, you got to paint the whole fucking thing. Don't post a fucking headline making Westbrook look like the bad guy when he was responding to what some motherfucker said to him first. What Kanye say? You only reading the headlines, not looking at the fine print. Quit with these cheap ass, misleading ass article titles. What Will Smith say in Concussion? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Keep the perception correct and stick to the script, people. A wise person once told me comparison is the thief of joy, and trying to compare everything positive can make you frustrated, while comparing everything negative will give you a headache. I wasn't going to address this, but clearly people don't understand it, so fuck it. You know what really grinds my gears? People who make excuses for someone they're close to because of someone else. What I mean by that is, let's say somebody sees someone else's kids being bad, right? The person who doesn't know them will probably think, badass kid. But the parent, on the other hand, will be like, oh, my kid isn't bad, and make up some time of excuses for him. Whole time the kid is really bad as fuck. I need for all you R. Kelly apologists to knock it off. I keep seeing these apologist ass memes about Elvis and Woody Allen and Harvey Weinstein and even the Catholic Church saying, how come nobody talking about them? This is all an agenda to make black people look bad. First of all, that sounds stupid as fuck. One, let's be real. Black people don't give a fuck about no motherfucking Elvis, Woody Allen, or no Harvey Weinstein. And probably not even enough about the Catholic Church to be posting about it on social media. Black people only sharing stories on social media about people who are relevant to them, which in this case is a black artist who they have grown up with their whole life. Two, Weinstein and Woody Allen and the Catholic Church, they've been talked about for their issues. Well, whoa, they got the R. Kelly documentary, and then they're trying to get MJ when he dead. Well, what are the documentaries for them? Well, there's quite a few. As a matter of fact, if you do some research, you can find them. But since you probably don't do any research at all, I'm going to go ahead and give them to you. So Weinstein has about 8 documentaries. So one is Australia 60 Minutes. Another one's Hollywood Working. Another one's 2020 Shame and Scandal. Another one's BBC Harvey's Secrets. Another one's The Reckoning of Harvey Weinstein / Me Too documentary. Another one's The Harvey Weinstein Scandal. Another one is an ABC Nightline documentary. And another one is a New Yorker, how Weinstein's cover-up fell apart. Woody Allen also has a documentary titled Mia Farrow, An Intimate Portrait. The Catholic Church has like 4 of them. And there are even 2 on Roman Polanski and the U.S. military about rape and stuff like that. Like, don't hit me with they only documenting black people to take us down. This nigga put this shit on himself. And I have to say this. My boy Frank, he posted a status the other day because he was talking kind of similar stuff I was talking. And he had replied to someone who asked him a question. And he was speaking real shit. So I got to pretty much take some of the stuff he was saying because I agree with it. And I think it was valid points. Basically, what he was saying was that, everything coming for this guy is 100% fair because scandals happen routinely with these celebs. Most celebs with common sense, when you do something scandalous, what you're going to do, you're going to maintain a low profile until the next scandal comes out and then yours isn't as hot anymore. And then you rebuild your image one step at a time on the low. Think about like with Kareem Hunt. And I talked about this, I think maybe on my pod and also when I did my collab on the No Rules podcast when we said the Cleveland Browns picked up Kareem Hunt. What has he been doing since that came out that he hit that woman? He been on the low. You ain't seen him. You ain't heard nothing about him. And then out of nowhere, he gets signed to a team and this is his chance to rebuild. This nigga R. Kelly was out on the town for his birthday at the club, screaming and shit, just acting like he was fucking untouchable. Like, and so I'm supposed to feel bad for that? Like, this nigga beat a case 10 years ago, got off from the case, right? He beat the case, right? Because the people didn't want to testify. So he got off of that and refused to learn from that lesson. So now, because you refuse to learn from it, you're dealing with the exact same similar shit today. And then also it's that, being that we got insight to the system, it enabled him to maintain his lifestyle. That shit created the coffin, but the nail in the coffin was the fucking interview on CBS. Like, nigga, you acted a fool. You got made into a joke and a meme, and nobody fucking takes you seriously. So whose fault is that? Like, nigga, you fed the media the ammunition. Point blank. Like, so I'm supposed to feel bad and try to deflect the wrongdoings by saying, what about the white people? Fuck no. This isn't a black issue. This is a right or wrong issue. And if everybody has done wrong, then lock all these motherfuckers up. But all these memes talking about, what about the white people? They're doing nothing but deflecting the fact that what this guy did in the perception of saying, what about the white people, is trying to change the narrative to make it about a race thing, to change the minds of people who think that the nigga's wrong, so then you can all rah on the nigga's side. But that's not what it's supposed to be. Well, they did scandalous shit, no one was talking about it, so what he did was okay. No, that's highly inappropriate. And if I see some shit about, these chicks just trying to get money, like, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Like, this nigga ain't got enough money to pay for child support, bro. Like, this nigga got locked up the same day as an interview for $160,000 in back unpaid child support. Like, this nigga's not super popping like back in the 90s. And yeah, streaming numbers still get you some money, but it only gets you so far. Like, if these bitches really wanted to be about money, why not pour this shit on someone like Jay-Z? A nigga worth almost $1 billion. And you know his wife worth almost $1 billion. Like, if you truly think it's about money and you think all you got to do is just point a finger and play the blame game and that you're automatically going to get paid, why not do it on somebody like that? But let's not even think about just if they did it on like Jay-Z. Think about how Jay-Z would have responded had it happened. How do you think Jay-Z would have handled a situation if all these women were lying about it and it was about money? He damn sure would be keeping a low profile, getting a good legal team, handling things in court, keeping to himself, and not giving the media fucking ammunition on a CBS interview that generates into a fucking meme and makes you a joke. And if you truly think that somebody like Jay-Z would do some shit like that, then you crazy as fuck. Ayo Reese out.
Thank you for listening to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me and for us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and comment, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or Google Play. Also, make sure you get at me on my social media pages. I have a Facebook page, which you can search for From Me For Us, or you can leave it in the status at FMFU_podcast. Also, get at me on Twitter and Instagram at the same @names. That's at FMFU_podcast. Remember, people, always keep it a buck, always keep it 1,000, and perception is everything. I hope you have a nice day. Still fuck y'all.